Hey guys, welcome back to Trekyards. As always, I'm Captain Foley.
And I'm Connor Cottons. And we're at episode 12 of Discovery. Looking forward to these Mirror Universe ones and a lot to discuss, I think.
Yes. But am I really me?
Well, that will be revealed. And it's not surprising to anybody. What's the show called, Stuart? And what were your overall thoughts?
This is episode 12. This is called Vaulting Ambition.
And they say it in the episode, so...
Yeah. Overall, kind of disappointed in this one. It had a few interesting moments and some reveals, but it was a very short episode. It's like 37 minutes long. Why? It ended like 7 minutes early, and I was watching it on network TV where it was scheduled for an hour. Yeah, it is alright. Yeah, it wouldn't rank up there very high.
Okay. I liked it. I thought the pace was pretty darn solid. I liked how not often they've been good at juggling storylines, but I thought the way they juggled the 3 was pretty interesting. And I thought that the lead up was actually really good to the end reveal, which I was surprised. But like, it's such a, but it's like, oh, okay, the conversation was really good, and then some nice little pieces to it. Yeah, it was another good little chapter in this tale, really. I mean, they're taking it. I like the fact that when we start, and I'll jump into the first scene, they're taking the shuttle from Shinjo to the Emperor ship, and they are going straight. Like, there's very little meandering in this episode, which I appreciated.
Mm-hmm.
It is point to point to point. They're not wasting time, despite them being such a short episode. They could have thrown more scenes in to really help. Just embrace the Mirror University-ness, or just things, or space shots.
Yeah, and the first few lines of dialogue are pretty revealing. We find out the Emperor's ship is called the ISS Charon.
Mm-hmm.
And what blew me away is that it was 27 million kilometers away. So they had to jump to warp for like a minute or two to get there. Who fired at the planet? Did the Empress's ship come in and another cloaked ship go to the planet to fire? Or did they fire torpedoes from 27 million kilometers away?
And time it perfectly. Or, I guess, just... Well, not really necessarily, but taking, what? A couple of hours?
So I thought that was really odd. The first scene should have been the Empress's ship and
over the top,
Shinjo in orbit together.
Yep.
Or like the Emperor's ship right behind it. Like, But no.
Yeah,
I do appreciate seeing the shuttle, though. I do like that shuttle.
Yeah, it's weird. Whenever they have stuff like that, they sort of botch it.
Yeah.
Almost every single time. Like the D7, like the fact that the shuttle's in between places for no good reason. A whole load of those weird things. It's like, oh, that's wrong and silly, and loses, like you said, the cool shot reveal, which we actually had for the Klingon sarcophagus ship, despite the cloaking device X, that's wrong. You know, ooh, that's kind of cool. Yeah, weird that, and I wrote that down, and that's anyway, whatever. Moving on, and so they're taking Lorca to the Emperor.
Yes.
Use the correct pronouns, and we have this conversation. You know, she says, right, we've decrypted the Defiance database. It's been redacted. This digital one that's been spread to the other ships is not useful, except we know interphasic rift. It's somewhere, we don't know where. If we can get, and Lorca suggests, if we use the Empress flagship, I'm sure I have the original digital copy there, and we can get the exact location of the digital the rift that will take us home. And I'm like, you know, it kills the crew, right? Like,
they don't though, because it's redacted.
I know, later. But I appreciate that we're like, yeah, this is a bad plan, but it's fine. It'll go away eventually. And yeah, then she injects him with Kylo Ren's lightsaber. It has a secondary function.
I thought the same thing. I saw it. I'm like, what the hell? But yeah, it was a custom analgesic to numb his pain receptors so he could handle the agonizer booth.
And I thought that was fun, but boy, is that actually rather clever. And it's good that it's just sort of thrown in there at the start. But actually, we all thought this might happen, so I was kind of like, okay. But that was good. I like the scene overall.
Yeah, it was an interesting conversation between her and Lorca, especially talking about the ghosts. This is not your Giorgio. This is very telling. I mean, I would be kind of hesitant to face her again, because you did betray her once, and now
Betray. Yeah. I actually forgot that was what happened. I was like, oh, they just died. No.
Yeah.
Such long ago, and it wasn't great. Anyway, then we get the first reveal of the Emperor's ship, which I called not the Defiant, and from the trailer very clearly not the Defiant, and logically wouldn't be a 100-year-old, which in itself a 20-year-old ship. Anyway, so what did you think of the Emperor's flagship, the ISS Chiron, whatever, it's with a C.
Charon, yeah.
Yeah.
Not impressed. It's a whole lot of ugly, and I don't understand the ring and the sun. I mean, they can harness the sun apparently, or some kind of, what is it, a Dyson sphere? No, it's not that big. So no.
Which is funny because when they zoom in, I think they reuse the interior model of the Discovery hangar based on what it looks like. Because I mean, they've already got like good geometry, so it's not even that big. You know what I mean? It's huge, but not like hundreds of kilometers. It's like really big, but not like really big. Yeah, it's a weird one. It's like I'm assuming that the sun will go somewhere. Maybe they use that to create a rift, and like that's a pretty hefty thing to do. It's got sort of Babylon 5 vibe. It's got a Citadel from Mass Effect, lighting the inner ring with people. But boy, that's a small created sun, and boy, that's close stuff to it given the scale. It's like things are really close. Yeah, it's a weird one. It doesn't link to anything in Trek apart from I guess it Deredex. I guess. I mean, you could say Romulan tech because they use self-created singularities. It's a very random ship. I mean, it's cool, but it's like not very interesting and or Star Trek. And it's sad because we're hoping to see some cool evolutions on TOS tech. Remember when we said it'd be fun to see like everything's looks closer to canon because it's further, or even super far away. I guess it's the super far away equivalent. But it's like, okay, it's a ring thing with a thing.
It's ugly.
Yeah, but it's not really a spaceship, is it? It's got a palace. It's her flagship, but it's obviously like a building in space. It's her headquarters with unlimited power. We'll find out more. I mean, we just got there, but yeah, it's like okay, that's not even a Mass Effect ship if I've ever seen one.
Yeah,
and a bit Orville. That'd be a great Orville ship. Kind of random alien of the week with random sun in the middle. It's a great Orville ship.
And we're going to be doing an episode on the ship specifically.
There's actually a lot of pictures of it if you carefully scroll through the episode.
Yeah. Next scene is the Stamitses talking to each other. We find out that the Mirror Universe Stamets is also an astromycologist. He was working on his lab on the Emperor's ship, and something happened to him, so he's also in a coma aboard her ship. So his lab's aboard her ship, which means... I thought, well, that means they have a spore drive on that ship, but they don't.
Didn't we call that? And weren't we backlash for saying, of course they have a spore drive. How did Discovery get to our universe? We called it no spore drives in that universe. Because the Emperor's like, spore technology.
I want your engines
Stuart, high five. We called it. It made sense that it didn't make sense. Thank you very much. Now, but he did obviously link to the mycelium network. So we just didn't. Well, what is it apart from a travel device? Engines are different to say mycelium weapons grid. It can, in like a bubble, it can transport a weapon maybe, but they never thought of making engines out of it. I don't know, maybe something like that.
Yeah, we need more clarification as to what he was doing exactly.
Which we're certainly gonna get. And this was a great scene because we're both vindicated. There isn't him in the other universe. I said it'd be good if he was here because he might be able to jump back. I love that he also said that I was lost. And then you tapped into the network in your universe, and I could see that because I'm tapped in, and I've been the one giving you premonitions.
I've been trying to contact you.
Yeah.
He's like, well, that explains a lot. That explains why I saw Tilly as captain, and why I saw the palace and all this.
Isn't that a bit easy though? I kind of felt like it. Like we were thinking this big network of Stamets was just alternate Stamets knocking on the guy's window and say, like bulletproof glass and saying, "Hey. Hey!"
I think there's going to be a lot more to that reveal because later we find out that this Stamets deserves what he's going through because he's used the mycelium network for his own gains and all this. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But we'll get to that part in a little bit, I think.
But what what a coincidence that happened to the mirror universe, or a mirror universe anyway, that you know happened to the one close. I guess it's the one closest, but that knocked his door. But it's good to get clarification on that, and it was.
Yeah.
And then
the lights flicker, and Stamets is like, "What's that?" Well, something is corrupted within the network. So I think that's another thing that's okay. What did he do to the network? Because I think he's the one that's responsible for the discovery actually coming through.
Well, Lorca is.
Nah, I don't think so.
I mean, he told them to go there.
I know, but I think it's the other Stamets that is responsible for the network, kind of pulling them that way. I think that's my call.
So yeah, they're in a reproduction of the Discovery, just basically of saving green screen. That's all it was, which is fine. Because that's where he feels safer. He goes to his lab. Then we get another cutaway of the ship, another view again.
Before that, though,
jump back.
There's a little Easter egg that's thrown in there. If you look at the plaque behind him in the one scene, you zoom in, it says USS Stamets, starboard engineering.
Yes.
So in his narcissistic brain, I guess he called the ship the USS Stamets instead of the USS Discovery.
Well, it is the Stamets. It is his ship because it's his brain. Yeah, I didn't see it in this scene because we're way too far away from the plaque, but later on you can see it close up. Yeah, that was a wonderful Easter egg that is there, but it's like,
yes,
nice reference. And you can do whatever you want when it's fictional within a fictional universe, you know. So yeah, another cutaway of the ship, still unimpressive, and this kind of cool palace structure on top of it. And we see this internal set, which, like I said, is probably a redress of the one meeting place at one time. And they introduced to the Admiral with multiple names. I'll just call out there. Augustus is one of her names.
I got to have them all written down.
Okay.
Her Most Imperial Majesty, Mother of the Fatherland, Overlord of Vulcan, Dominus of Kronos, Regina Andor, Philippia Georgia Augustus, Empernus Sertorius.
As a great reveal, and Augustus is for the Emperor Augustus in Roman times. That's a good reference. Shouting that out for you, Dad, because he's a Roman guy. But obviously, at that point, we're expecting, is he going to say Sato? No, doesn't matter either way. Just could have thrown that in. Meh. But yeah, nice entrance. I like her throne thing more that it rotates. It's a bit more class to it. I don't know. And then we get an interesting scene. She's told to pick out one of the Kelpians because she needs a new servant on her ship. Is the implication. We'll get there. And she picks one out, and it's like, oh, okay, it's a bit weird we focus on that again, but okay. That Kelpian, it's like, okay.
Is it Saru? Because it looks exactly like Saru.
No,
Would he already be on the ship?
No, he's on the Shinjo, isn't he? They're trying to say that a lot of them look alike, because makeup and you're right, it's very similar, but similar face to Doug Jones. So we'll come back to that later. Picks a Kelpian to serve her in one specific function.
Then Lorca's like, I'm not going to bow to you. He gets the crap kicked out of him. And he gets sent to Brig C, the finest brig for our captive. Sure. But yes.
Yes, she says he's going to be not killed and live a long life. He's going to get punished every single second. It's like, okay, cool, fair enough.
Anyway, then we get the reveal that she was in fact raised, or Burnham was raised by the Empress as a daughter. So she's just had shitty luck in both universes because her parents just keep getting killed.
Yep. What do you think about that then? That in both universes, that her parents are on a Vulcan colony that gets attacked by Klingons, we can assume because parallelness. And then the Emperor picks her to be adopted?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to think. It's just plot convenience.
Well,
it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't not make sense. It's like, universes. I think I'm just trying to say that she's really important in both universes. One for a place in legacy, sort of, because she started the War of the Klingons despite not really doing anything to start a War of the Klingons. And the other one being she happened to get picked. Maybe she was the only survivor because she killed the Klingons by hand-to-hand combat. That might be a cool story. Then, she cowardly stayed and the Emperor's like, oh, I want a daughter now, you! I don't know, I was like, okay, that at least gives us something to work with. But it's like, oh, that's lucky. Ash is not happy. Although he becomes Ash again for like 12 seconds, which is weird. And then goes on being rah.
Well, no, there's Ash is still in there somewhere.
Is
part
he?
Of him. At least part of him. His memory engrams.
Yeah, is he? I don't know.
He is.
They're not really answering the questions, which is interesting.
No, they're not. But yeah. Anyway, I like the fact that they point out that yes, they checked his genome. It matches the Starfleet database, which goes back to what we said, that there must have been an Ash Tyler at the Battle of the Binary Stars, because a lot of people have been asking that. Obviously, there was. So they used his genome, but they talk about that a little bit later as to what exactly happened, which...
Yep.
What exactly happened, kind of.
Yep. And then we see the torch chamber. It's a very unimpressive room with a lot of empty space.
It looks like engineering, just redressed.
Yeah, it's a... Well, I think it's the shuttle bay. They've just repainted and just used one door, one corner, the physical bit. I was very unimpressed by the Emperor's grand, torture chamber is just like this little room with a thing, and it's weird how they seem to run out of budget despite the most expensive show. Like, choose where you spend the budget better, please, because you're very weird when it comes to that. And turn on some lights in your 3D rendering program. And lights aren't more expensive if you turn them on in your renderer. Give us light, especially on the later, or actually one of the previous CG scenes of the Empress's ship. Turn on a light. Same cheapness. Do it, please. It's very dark. Don't be lit by anything.
Speaking of dark,
yeah,
the dining room is very dark as well. And they're having a nice meal, and it's like, oh, it's so yummy. And it's like
delicious.
The imperial chef knows how to prepare kelpian.
What?
Have my ganglia.
Yeah.
She almost throws up. I thought that was awesome.
See, that was a great reveal, because that's clever writing.
But then later, you got to think she ate a kelpian. And she got to work with Saru, and I would have refused it. I would have been like, "No, I'm good, thanks."
As they say, you got to do what you got to do, even eating your friend's adopted third cousin in this universe. Yeah, that was dark, but that was a clever dark. It was a good dark, and it brings a lot of extra sudden realization of she picked her meal like a lobster. That was her treat. Good scene. Uncomfortable, actually, but good scene. That was well done.
Then there's a nice conversation about why did you always, try to best me, Michael, even as a child? I can tell when you're lying. I can't tell when you're lying, except in this instance, where I obviously can tell you're lying.
Because you're not you, which was actually quite well done, I thought. And her face is like, oh, I'm so sorry. She says, oh, no, Philippa. And then George is like, you used to call me mother. That's nice.
Not quite like that, but...
No,
yes.
but the... slightly better acted, okay? I'm not an actor. I'm not an actor. So back into the mycelium discovery... Sorry, mycelium Stammet spore drive recreation room.
They're trying to map an exit. The best way to find an exit is to find out where you entered. They checked out all the coordinates from the last 133 jumps around the Klingon sarcophagus ship. And oddly enough, the coordinates for the final jump are missing. And that was because of Lorca on the bridge who did the override. So that was pretty cool. And then Stamets can't lie in any universe. Why are you scratching at your arm? I love how he's snarky even with himself. Which is cool. And then you see basically where Stamets, where his implants are, is where this is happening on the other Stamets.
Yes.
And it's the network is starting to affect him.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean,
it's converting him, consuming him, which was very interesting at the time, and obviously gets more interesting as we progress. But I like how it's going from beat to beat to beat. It's quite an efficient episode, I think, because they edited it right down for some reason. And then we see Hugh walking away, and that's when the Stamets nice close-up. That's when I noticed it. It's like, ooh, nice reference, guys. And I was like, okay, is this Figment him, real him, Spore Drive him, future him, past him, parallel him? Is Hugh a Spore Drive person in another universe? No, it's just dead him. His spirit can be myceliumed. I don't know.
Yeah, which we'll find out more
Or
about.
Figment him. I mean, no reason it couldn't just be Figment.
I thought
him.
it was like a shadow of his self, kind of like a Nexus shadow,
Yeah. Yeah.
The next scene's interesting. She's going to assassinate her.
No, execute. It's legal. She's Emperor.
Oh, yeah, that's right. She said, I would never give anybody else a quick death, but, you've earned this because you're my daughter, I guess. I don't know. She admits she's from another universe, which I thought was a ballsy freaking move.
But great. Really nice. And again, her stone acting really works for this. It's like, I'm not your daughter, da-da-da-da-da. She's like, oh?
And I love how she offers her badge as proof. And that's your badge. That's my captain's badge. It's your badge. Check the quantum variance.
Yes. See, I thought the badge itself was rubbish proof because you could just make that. But the resonance, I was like, oh, okay, that's a good reason. Yeah, and her system will bleep bleep like the megaparticle, bleep bleep megaparticle, bleep bleep, Terran Prime Universe. Oh my goodness, which I thought was really like, ooh, this is almost like fourth wall. It's like we're telling characters inside of it what's really happening, and let's see where that goes. And so she registers it, and I'm pretty sure that graphic was taken from Enterprise on the thing where they showed the different universe. I'm pretty sure that's from Enterprise, but she scans it. And then she pulls out of one of her wonderful pillar things a thing. And then what happens, Stuart?
Well, she kills everybody except for one lord. And it's pretty brutal. I mean, it goes through their heads and comes back around and lands on her hand and she puts it back. But before that, the one thing she says I found was kind of odd. She says a parallel universe is an interesting concept. It's almost like she was surprised by hearing it when she first said it. And I'm like, you must know that it exists.
Oh, I think she was trying to just not live. She was trying to give every single person in the room a sense of, ooh, the Empress is thinking. So wouldn't expect her to kill everyone.
I know. It just was an odd delivery of the line because it seemed like she really didn't know what the hell was going on.
That's a line for the audience to give you 1 second of, this could be, oh no, she doesn't know what's happening. Yeah, I agree. It was a little bit weird. So she kills everyone, very much like it literally is a shot from Wanted, which I quite enjoy the film, or a Predator disc. It's a very, but it's good. Well, it's got like this is all of her lords, the most important lords that are there, the most important funeral. I mean,
it's her council.
I mean, this is us telling the audience that things are going to radically change now. That Giorgio needs she sees this potential of this universe of either going to that universe or something big that I can afford to kill everyone that is my important people to make a new era. It was weird that you'd kill all your biggest people.
It is.
Did you see a reason for that?
No, just to keep them quiet about a parallel universe.
But they all knew about it because they're higher than captains, which means they all had knowledge of the records.
I don't think they all knew about it.
But Burnham knew evil, but they had the files on the Defiant on the Shinjo.
They're all redacted though.
Yes, but it still says parallel universe. I mean, this is not like this is secret.
I know,
it's
but
classified. These are the highest people. This is a.
That's why she killed them, though. She didn't want it getting out of that chamber. That's why.
Yeah, well, she didn't want to get the fact there's a new person in the playing field out.
And the one dude, the one lord, gets a promotion. He's going to be made governor of Andor.
Yeah.
Like I says, can you keep a secret? No. What am I going to say after that? Like, seriously.
Yeah. What I think probably that scene is that obviously Giorgio's thinking, damn, the only example from that timeline is from the future of that timeline. Logically, the only example, because it has to be on the Rift, wouldn't it? Because that's the only way she knows. Have to be from the future again. If we now, 100 years on, can get their ship, we'll be another 100 years on, and I can be double Emperor, because I'll have more technology, but if any of them think, because they would all think the same, if any of them do a coup right this moment, and they get that technology, they can do what Sato did, and take command. So best to kill everyone and take technology for myself because I'm actually Empress. Because you wouldn't assume it was from the present because there's no reason to assume it'd be contemporary because that's not the one example they have. So yeah, probably a safe bet there. Yeah.
Next scene's the brig. He slides in the food and she's like, well, you're here for a reason because you're standing around. What's going on? And he says that Tyler is in pain. He's claiming he's a Klingon, and she's like, so they get we get kind of an explanation how they harvested his DNA from the Battle of the Binary Star and rebuilt his consciousness. So how much of the original Tyler is there, we don't know yet, but it's interesting. The way she phrased it was quite interesting.
But it's bit more cut and dry in that they had a prisoner, they picked him for whatever reason out of the prisoners they had, and they took DNA, which is very easy, and they grafted that onto Vok. Okay, easy enough. And then they built a personality around it, and they implanted that into his brain. So it's a digital personality, but it's just a really advanced one, with limitations and manipulatableness and whatever. So it's a fake personality based on a real person, which is what Lorca was testing, I guess. I don't know. It makes it seem a bit more weird now. But yeah, explanation number 3, I guess. Back to the USS Stamets. Everything was going a bit haywire. He goes into their quarters and he sees Hugh and he's smiling and, oh, dude, I'm dead. What?
Yeah, he admits he died.
Yeah, not wasting time. It's nice. The pace is pretty solid. There's little bits of slow bits for a little bit of a lead up, but I thought the pace was pretty damn solid. Kind of a slow pace, but a solid slow pace. He's like, no, I don't believe you. And he's like, yeah, sorry. He's like, I'm so sorry for your loss. Like he committed. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's what I thought was a little sweet thing. Yeah.
Then we see the ugly piece of shit ship again, and they start talking about the Defiance files, and says that was interphasic space. When the crew came through, they all went insane and tore each other apart.
Yay, Cadden!
So yeah, it's good that she mentioned they went insane and killed each other. Yeah. So she's like, "Why do you think that is going to get you back?" And then they're like, "How'd you get here?"
Yep.
Engine malfunction. No, warp engines don't breach the barrier between realities. Well, we have a spore-activated hub spore drive, whatever she said.
Yes.
Which I thought, again, that's
ballsy.
Yeah, that's very ballsy.
Well, remember, I guess a year and a month ago, she was on the Shinjo with her, that she for 7 years. I mean, she's going back into the old habits of trusting her, even in the smallest way. It's got to be subconscious, and she wants to see the good in people. But yeah, to tell her that, it's like, she became the empress of an evil dictatorial empire for a reason. She's going to stab you in the back, like, probably literally as well, Yeah,
the empress did say, did you trust me in the other reality? Why do you think I'm not trustworthy here? Yeah, well,
because that's mirror logic.
Yeah. So anyway, the deal is the empress wants the engine schematics for her freedom.
Well, no, not just hers, all their freedom, like the ship going home freedom.
Yes.
It's a relatively fair deal, and the deal that we need to make, I guess, then, especially since either can double cross. An interesting scene. And we're back to plot number 2. Saru goes to the brig and says, "Look at what he did to himself. He's ripping his own chest apart. He's fighting. You made him a Klingon with a human, or human with a Klingon inside, or Klingon with a human on the outside. And you're in a war with us. Well, they're in a war together." And we forgot to mention that he revealed that we're in a parallel universe to her, and she was like, Doesn't really make much difference either way, because she doesn't know if it's true or not. I guess, at least with Degra, they put some effort into the lie.
Right.
That was a great episode.
Yeah. We find out here, though, she does say that it can be undone, but I have to do it. It's like,
yes, because he beams him in, and it's like, what can be undone? Full body reconstruction? I mean, yes, surgery, sure. Just if you can do fake noses and stuff, of course you can. Future, whatever. But I was like, she's cradling him. It's like, okay. And then back in the torture chamber, the very unimpressive room that looks clearly redressed for another scene, another set. And then the captain, I think it's the captain of the ship that we saw in the previous episode. The previous episode, I guess.
I think so, yeah.
He's like, "I'll take charge." He's like, "It's for my sister. Tell me her name, and I'll torture you until you do it, because, you did something bad to her." And he brings in somebody.
Well, before that, though, hold on.
Oh.
You're getting ahead of me.
I am.
He did mention the fact that they had to fill the aft shuttle bay with agonizers to take care of all of Lorca's men.
Across the galaxy, that supported him.
Alive. Yeah.
So it wasn't just a ship, it was a network of rebellion.
Yeah.
We don't know why. That's still a place to go.
And Burnham pulled that card early with the dining conversation. She said, "Lorca's men are everywhere, even aboard your ship. I needed to make sure that everyone knew I was dead, including yourself, so I could catch Lorca." And that's when the Empress was like, "You're lying to me, Michael." She knows that there's none of Lorca's men on her ship, and if they are, they're in agonizer booths.
They can't do jack. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
So we see one of them, and he's all like, just, I knew you weren't dead. Just tell him. And then he's like, what do you want me to tell? Yeah, I like lots of women. Yeah.
So many women. It's good to be the captain.
And this is such an interesting scene because as you're watching, you're thinking, right, he's probably Prime Lorca playing a Mirror Lorca, which involves extrapolation. So he can't know anything, but he has to act like he knows something.
But this might be a mirror universe counterpart to somebody that was on the Baran or somebody that he knew in the Prime universe. That's what I thought.
But then
there was a spark of recognition when he saw him.
Well, he probably was on his own Prime Baran. I mean, or just whoever. I mean, he have to be recognizing either way because he thinks it's important. It's one of those things. If you're double bluff acting, got to act either way. And even if you are Mirror Lorca, if you're Mirror Lorca though, in this scene, there's no reason not to play who you are because all you're talking to is mirror people, and they know you're a mirror person. So if you are a mirror person, why are you being cagey about the information? It's a weird scene. It's a scene for the audience, not for the reality of what would happen. You know. I guess it's really just telling us about this character because we're now really learning about this character. He's all like, "Well, lots of women. I don't even care about her name. You know, I'm goading you now." That's really what it is. You know. And so he says this parasite, which again uses the same device.
It's not a parasite. It's alien DNA. Which he injects.
Oh, okay. Again, the Kylo Ren lightsaber device injects him, and he turns inside out and explodes. Exploded. It's literally my notes. I said turned inside out and exploded. XD. Yeah. That's my note.
All I put there is looks painful. Ouch.
We've seen a few of those. Mud through the thing. It would be nice to use that again. Like we've already established a harsher than harsh killing device. Just use that again. It's like in TOS. It always annoys me when they introduce the strongest metal ever. It's like, you already had one 4 episodes ago. You use the one you already used. Stop inventing new best ones. You can't keep doing that. It doesn't work. But whatever. It was a really gruesome effect. And Lorca's like, oh.
Crappy.
Oops. Yep, that sucks.
Next scene. Sickbay.
Oh.
And here we got some futuristic Freddy Krueger gloves. With lasers instead of blades.
Oh, they're so low tech. I love it.
I do really love the medical scanner display, though. I gotta say,
and they boop, boop, correct music, boop, or sound effect.
But it's really odd what she's doing. She's like accessing parts of the brain, and it's like, what are you doing exactly? There's never any real explanation for what happens here.
Yeah, and it's not just that. It's like there's no real sense of time in this episode, especially with there's 3 different storylines. Is that a device that humans had? Is that a device she had on her when she was captured? Is that a device that she told them how to build? If it's
That's a good point.
Like,
That's a good point.
And it's also, you know what I mean? It seems like a super specialist thing. They're not gonna have one lying around, and all she's doing is this. If you know from Stargate, the Gould hand device, it's just a thing that you do things with, but you're controlling it via your mind. Therefore, its abilities are sort of nebulous, but you define what they are. If this is being controlled by her mind, or it's just lasers, and it's just tech is for tech's sake. And again, when I watched the scene for the first time, no Klingon words, so I was just enjoying it. And what are you going to say, Stuart, before I read out what the dialogue is?
It was like a clip show, the best of Vogue moments.
Well, the only Vogue moments. The only Vogue moments.
Yeah, so.
It's like he's only in 3 episodes, and he's not very interested in any of them. So the dialogue says, she says, "When I see you, I do not see the human. I see the warrior, who laid down all for his people." And then you can read Vox line.
Kalas, give me the light.
Oh, it's K-Resh. He says Resh.
Karash. Like, sounds like he has marshmallows.
Wait, it says K-Resh. It's like, no, you say K-less.
Wow.
K-Resh.
Father, give me wisdom. Mother, give me drink. And then there's the best moments of, and then he starts saying sister and brother, but in English, not in Klingon.
Yep, which is fascinating.
Yeah, because I thought that's when like something's happening with Tyler's character. He's coming back around. I don't know. And then it goes nowhere.
Well, no. And then she does the death shout.
Which means what? Is Vok dead? Is he going to Stovacor?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, if you killed the Vok part of his brain, then he shouldn't still be talking in Klingon phrasing. Yes, he's doing English.
He stops doing that and goes to English.
But that's the thing, he's still saying the Klingon words. So it's the Klingon brain saying it. That's what I mean. It's a very weird, like, it doesn't
giving
make...
way to the giving way to the human brain, and then she screams. So maybe
So
why go through all this effort to have Vok be and
Killed.
then kill him and then scream and send him to Silvercore? It's like, why would you?
And you
help
wouldn't do that
humans?
for Ash. You wouldn't do that for Ash.
No.
But hey, that was a damn intriguing scene. I'll give him that. As a lead on to the next episode, it was damn intriguing. It doesn't answer anything, and it gives us more questions. But again, where on earth is this going? We still don't know, because if that's the resolution of now I'm killing the Vok personality, wow, that was a really great, important subplot.
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, so on the USS
Next
Stamets,
scene.
great little conversation. He says, I want things to go back to normal.
Well, hold on. He
Oh.
does say he watched Tyler kill him.
Yeah.
He remembers cradling his body, but he thought it was all a dream,
Yes.
which is important, I think.
Okay.
And then there's the scene in the mirror, and I thought this is the exact same scene where the mirror universe, where you see
Yeah.
the mirror Stamets stay in the mirror. It's like this scene was
Happening at the same
it's
time,
being,
parallel.
It's being relived in the
Yeah.
mycelium network
Yeah.
at that moment, and
Yeah.
it's a callback to that, which was I thought was actually pretty cool.
Well, they had few moments together in the entire show. Basically, this was it. So they're showing us this again. And it's quite a nice moment. Again, they say we're resetting back to what it was. I thought they might have wasted another 10 minutes on he's living a fantasy. But no, we go straight back into how's your day, honey? All the shitty stuff. But there's reasons for that, dear. So he goes straight back into the important stuff, which again, well paced, I thought.
Yes. Yes, and he's I thought one thing that's going to be important, I think later on, is the fact that Stamets kept saying, "I want things to be the way it was. I want things to go back to the way they were."
Yep.
So, and here we see it's the same kind of mycelium damage to Q's
Yeah.
arm, that the whole network is falling apart. You need to, everyone's going to die. You need to save the network.
And we get reveal number 4.
Of Stamets waking up.
No,
Both Stametses waking up.
of what's happening. What's happening? It says, well, other Stamets corrupted. I guess you mentioned it earlier, but yeah, this is when we learned that.
Yes. I had to save you from him. He deserves to be going through this torture. You don't. He's using the network for his own means. I had to save you. That's why he showed up.
Yeah. So
And then-
the network is.
Yeah, and then both Stametses wake up. The one on the Emperor's ship, and
With a kiss again, pretty efficient. I'm not. But then you wonder what put him in the coma, and was there actually like,
and
what? I don't know.
Hugh did say too. The network is a gift. It's the thread that weaves life throughout space. So.
Yeah, and he kisses him and he wakes up, and I love the mirror waking up. That's great. Again, redress of the Shinjo
And
side room.
yeah, he also did say, "Look for the clearing in the forest for a way to go home."
Yeah,
So,
I think it was an episode title or something. Again, he's repeating the same lines, and he wakes up and he gets out until he's like, he's awake, and he's totally fine. He's
I
like,
thought he would freak out about Hugh, but I love how when he wakes up, she's like, "It's been a while. Do you know what's going? Yeah, I know Hugh's dead. Let's just get on with things." It's like,
Yeah.
yes, I'm glad he didn't
well,
fall into a funk or depression or just whatever.
he's been playing more and more of the guy that knows things, being connected, and so that certainly fits into how they see him in this next bit. But yeah, very straightforward. Obviously been very interesting pacing again. Now she takes him directly to the mycelium chambers, the huge ones, and they're all dead. So I guess no one noticed that when she was feeding him spores, she never went back to the source and was like, "Wow, all the trees are dead. I should probably stop using the spores because maybe they're killing the trees." It's weird to suddenly throw that in there unless it happened right then and there, but that doesn't make any sense either. I don't know. Whatever. Trees are dying, so it means that I'm assuming that means they're out of spores, which means they couldn't even spore drive even if they wanted to. I'm assuming that was the connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's reference to the sickness has spread.
Yeah. Well, to all the.
So I think that's the arm thing going.
I just thought.
Anyway.
So she talks to Saru. She gets him on the bell and says, "Hey, just come over and join us." He's like, "Really?" And he's like, "Yep." He's like, "Okay."
And then this is an interesting reveal here. We find out that Lorca...
Reveal number 5.
Lorca was actually the right hand of the Empress, in charge of all the important missions and the information about the Defiant and things like that, and how he was like a father figure to Burnham.
Reveal number 6.
Until Burnham got a little older. And
Reveal number 7.
There was a little hanky-panky going on. She's like, me and Lorca? Really?
Yeah. The code word is he groomed her. And it's like, ooh, that went somewhere interesting. And then reveal number 8.
What? Did Lorca's from the Mirror Universe? Well, not really. We find out that the Empress is sensitive to light. And that's the one differentiation between the people from her universe.
Physiological difference.
The humans from her universe and the humans from the Prime universe. And I'm like, when did this become a thing?
Although I remembered, interestingly enough, if you think back to the Defiant in the Mirror Universe, all the lights are really dark. It's mood lighting, whereas in TOS they're really bright. So actually, surprisingly works. Doesn't work for the TOS episode, but actually it's a very random fact, and it's a very forced, like, there's a connect. I assumed it meant like he was her daughter or he was her son or like a biological thing. But to say all humans are light sensitive is like, well, why would you build a sun there without a screen filter? Why are you giving yourself pain every single day to look at the damn sun? I mean, I thought that was weird. Again, very like, let's make a thing for a thing, and it explains all the ship's dark, and I don't know. But yeah, we get all these flashbacks to previous dialogue about just mimicked wording that the Empress knew. Sorry, the Emperor knew what he was like when she knew him, and Burnham's thinking back, damn, these are very similar words. Now at that, I was thinking, oh, okay, both Lorcas are very similar. Maybe this Lorca's a bit pervy as well. That's the first way it's going down. It's like, okay, they're both very similar people, but then we're thinking, oh, okay, no, this is probably the reveal to the reveal. Then you get an Agonizer booth scene. He dies. Oh no! Wait, he's not dead. Kills the other guy instead.
I love the realization Burnham comes to first, though, that he used her to get on the Emperor's ship to get to the Emperor. Mm-hmm. And then you get the reveal scene of him faking his death in the Agonizer booth. Uh-huh. And the guy's like, "Don't die on me. I'm going to get in shit," which is interesting.
But as we know, in the first scene, he injected the thing that lets him survive things better. And so he survives just fine, and then reveals he does know the girl's name was Ava. And then he kicks him to death, and then it ends the episode. As the reveal, he does know everything, because he is, in fact, evil Lorca. So that was obvious.
Yeah.
What did you think? That is the end of the episode, so what did you think of that reveal, and then we'll give up?
I thought it was a good reveal, an interesting twist, but at the same time, I'm disappointed because I really like Lorca. I want Al Lorca to exist after these episodes. I want the Prime Lorca to come back and kind of be half a man and kind of have to find his place again, kind of thing. I don't know. I really like Lorca, and a lot of people don't like Lorca, but I really don't care because I really enjoyed his character. So it kind of upset me that he's a Mirror Universe guy. I don't think they're going to carry on with him as captain.
No, probably not. They're not going to let a mirror evil guy be a captain. Anyway, it's funny because I've said this from very early on. He's a terrible Federation captain. Absolutely terrible.
That's what everyone says.
Yeah, he's an awful, awful, awful man, awful character. Great character, awful person. But now we know why. And we at the start were saying Section 31 because they gave us that one Section 31 clue that I guess made everyone... They probably just put in there just so we all say, oh, Section 31, oh. No, beyond that, he's just a bad guy. Although, very good at not being as bad as he could be. I guess there's more subtlety to the bad in this universe. There's less, like, vindictive, I'm going to kill you. It's more just like, yeah, just kill him.
It makes sense for his menagerie, though, his collection of weapons and his...
Well, everything. I mean, everything's been leading up to this.
Yeah.
You know, every decision, every whatever. And the fact that he suddenly got nicer when he was in the Mirror Universe because he achieved the biggest part of his mission. You know, that was the big bit. That was the hardest bit. And not only that, he has the technology to take over even more. And the implication that he has this bigger cause. You know, people all around the galaxy, I'm assuming there's still people left over that they didn't get, and they're on this ship. If he can release them, you know, it's a big ship, but if there's a lot of prisoners there, I mean, why is he rebelling against the Emperor? And why, if this person knew all the information, knew the highest levels of information, why is this person rebelling, you know? And they said earlier, he did turn Burnham against the Emperor. At least the Emperor thought that, but we can probably assume that probably is what happened. You know, so why that as well? I mean, you know, is he trying to make a new empire which is better or worse, or is he trying to go to the Prime Universe like we didn't take the technology? He thinks it's in the future as well. I mean, you know, what is the motivation of this character, which we'll now learn? And how did he get to our universe? It was easy for the future people from DS9, but they have 200 years of technology improve. You know, how did he get to our universe? And then he had to use Spore Drive to get back, so it was a one-way ticket. So a lot of interesting stuff there, but a bit obvious. I mean, none of the reveals have been particularly revealing, because it was like one of the many very obvious, like, well, this would make sense from everything we've been seeing. But that said, it was very nicely played. Same with the Vox scene. It's like, at least they're treating the scenes with the quality of writing, even if the foreshadowing is really blatant.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things, like, in the writer's room, I thought, like, I'm sure at the start, if I pitched you, right, Stuart, we're going to go to the Mirror Universe by episode 7. Our hero captain, which is why we're not following the captain as our hero, because he's a baddie. He is from the Mirror Universe. And there's a third character who's actually a Klingon. And the reason we've given them a special makeup is because if we didn't, he'd look like the same actor. Hence why I'm having to redo the Klingons. Someone pointed out, if he just looked like normal Klingons, it'd be too obvious. Which is true. You know, that'd be great, but the way they've done it is kind of poor. Or are we just so clever at seeing it? Or are we just so in tune with the universe that it makes sense? Like,
that was awful, though. Like, you wouldn't have to have the same actor playing the Klingon and the human, because it's a human that already existed, which would be a totally different person anyway. So you could have two actors playing that role. So redoing the makeup for that purpose is ridiculous.
Well,
and you wouldn't have to use the name of a serial killer on IMDb. That has no other credits.
Because plastic surgery is really a thing already.
And give it away. Exactly. It's just, if that's the reason for the makeup thing,
it's not the reason,
awful.
but it's a double whammy of clever, but not really. Yeah. But hey, interesting, and we've still got a few episodes left, and we finally got the arc. You know, this season wasn't about the Klingon War, wasn't about Spore Drive, wasn't about anything. It was about this man, his crusade. That's the arc. We finally got to the arc. 13 episodes in, or have met 12. Yeah, finally got there. And I was right. He's an awful Starfleet captain because he was never a Starfleet captain.
I liked him.
Vindicated. But more questions now, and I'm excited to see the next part. But then again, what is his plan? You know.
I think now he's got the Spore Drive, and he can't really use it yet right now. I don't know.
And he still and they'll know. Yeah, it's weird because even if he does, like, any one man shouldn't be able to take over a ship from the inside. Okay, yes, you probably knew the ship really well because you were a head of operations, whatever. But then they'd also change access codes and stuff. I mean, you know what I mean? It's not the biggest advantage ever.
Yeah.
You really need a bone to give you a gun and tech. But so yeah, closing thoughts on this episode, Stuart, and now I've talked it through. If you've changed your mind at all.
Well, lots of cool reveals. I'm interested in the Stamets storyline and the network. Again, I think because he's so adamant that he wants things to go back to the way they are, that there might be some kind of time travel reset of the timeline, something going on with that when he goes back. I'm looking forward to seeing how they fix the network.
Or he just phases to a third parallel universe, which is the Prime Universe, where everyone's alive, and that's how he gets other him, where Stamets is dead in that universe, and he can just cutely go and say, wow, this universe looks so weird. It's all advanced, and by our standards. It looks like the Constitution class, which in the book is advanced.
Yeah, so, I mean, all the storylines are great. The Mirror Universe, the Tyler, the Stamets. I'm really digging all of this. I'm looking forward to seeing where it goes. As I said in my spoiler-free first reaction last night, I'm just excited for the next episodes to see where this goes, because they've got us on a roll now.
Yep.
And I'm on the edge of my seat each episode going, what's next, which is awesome. That's what storytelling is supposed to be about.
Which was not for the first 8 episodes, but these Mirror ones, yes, better writing, better acting, better direction. It does make a difference, guys. As I said before, we judge each episode as it comes, and that's important because they've improved, and therefore we're more excited by them.
Yeah. And speaking of judging episodes, this one I'm going to give probably 7.5 out of 10.
Ooh, wow, that's a lot lower.
I didn't like the fact that it ended 7 minutes early, because there was that Lorca stomp, and then I'm like, all right, commercial. There's still 7 minutes, and then it comes back from commercial, and it's like credits, and I'm like,
Yeah, you could have put 3 more scenes in there that were really awesome.
yeah. So, and like I said, because it's on network television here in Canada, as part of the Canadian deal, because it's filmed in Toronto, and the Space Channel's out of Toronto. So we're the only place in the world that has it on network television. We don't get the next week on Discovery thing, so I haven't seen what happens next week yet. I'll have to watch that trailer when we're done here, which as I always do. So,
Cool. Yeah, like I said, I like this episode. I thought pacing was slow but pretty damn good. It would be nice if none of these reveals were as obvious. But there is a certain satisfaction of knowing that's a 50-50 chance of what it's being, and then be like, okay, it was that. You know, it's not a reveal, but it's a payoff. And I liked the payoff. It just was painted on the wall in really bright colours. You know what I mean? You could have done it better, and I think they probably know. Again, just writing was just the biggest problem with this series. You know, better writing, which stemmed from, or bad writing that stemmed from rewriting the show from episode 3 onwards. You know, you can't rewrite a masterpiece. I guess they'd write Star Trek 6 in 2 weeks, but you shouldn't be able to write a masterpiece in a few weeks. But yeah, I liked it. Excited to see more. You're right, bit too short. Don't really understand why. And again, for the most expensive Star Trek show ever, I mean, cool lighting effects doesn't equal expensive, you know? I mean, fan films can do that. I mean, they have a bit of budget. You know, Enterprise could have done it if they didn't have as much of a... I mean, they had 22 episodes in a year. I mean, they had more time to make less episodes with more budget and less characters, I guess. Less main characters. It's not an ensemble piece, but it does... The sets feel better, but it kind of feels like a cheaper show. Does that make sense? Like, the scale is so less broad, and this episode especially, it's like the Miriana's Palace. What a small... I mean, Takuma's ship looked awesome. Had a bit of scale, but they used it for like 7 episodes.
Huge. And yeah, this is a palace, and it's like the main palace room is like small.
Again, they've really... I think they'll just... But work on budget next year, guys. Just work on it. And maybe give them less money to encourage them to do a better job with it, because you gave them too much, they've done too poor with it. Seriously, it's weird.
I want space shots. I want ship shots.
Wait, the show's in space? I barely get a sense of that.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm going to give this one, and this is tricky, because I enjoyed it a lot, but it was very much it was like another chapter in a book, which Brian Fuller said this is meant to be a big, long book. It wasn't particularly exciting. The pacing was good as just another piece of a puzzle. But looking at it on its own is difficult, because it is just a payoff episode. 8.3 maybe. Then you said what, 7?
7.5.
So average it out to an 8. But yeah, it's weird. But good. I enjoyed it. I want to know more. I want to see more. So excited for next week and all the episodes we're going to do talking about it, because there's lots to talk about. And if you want to support us to support you by talking about it, you can share these videos any way you think fans will enjoy it. We love doing these reviews that are not reviews. They are scene by scene breakdowns, analyses with the pictures, seeing things you might not have seen, image enhancing, making brighter, because we do it every single goddamn week. So share it any way you think fans will enjoy looking at our perspective on this episode of Star Trek Discovery, and how else can people support us, Stuart?
By subscribing to the channel. Also, don't forget our Facebook page. You can go over there and join it. There's always great conversations on there. And there's a link in the description. It goes to our Patreon. You can help us out on a monthly basis, or head on over to Trekyards.com and click the donate button, because that all helps with us help making the show for you guys, which you can all enjoy for free. But if you can support us, we would appreciate it.
Yes.
So I guess until next time, when we have some awesome, cool Discovery videos that we have coming out, because we have a lot of great stuff coming up. Until then, I'm Captain Foley.
And I am Commander Coggins.
I'll see you in the future.
Bye, guys.
Bye.